The South has a funny way of civil warring families into little more than body bags. So when my sister McKenna called me from 2,118 miles away at 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, February 26th, to tell me that her best friend Ash had stepped in front of an oncoming truck, my first thought was, sweetheart, at least it wasn't you. I am selfish. This is not the first phone call of its kind to remind me of such. Ash was a genderqueer teen who had seen Leela Alcorn as much more model than martyr, and the only breath I could find was a rushing sigh of relief that it was a story McKenna was still around to tell. When your 15-year-old sister and her entire circle of friends are queer, and they all live in Indian Trail, North Carolina, a few interesting things happen. I, queer myself and home from college in Los Angeles for the summer, am suddenly the cool sister. Our house becomes the go-to spot. We are known for our constant supply of popcorn, our spontaneous sleepovers, and my mother's legendary brownies. And my sister, finally the belle of the ball that she never got to be in middle school, doesn't seem to have the words fragile, handled with care stamped across her forehead anymore. But there are subtle differences between hangout and haven. It is impossible to ignore when the teenagers frequenting your home seem to rack up bruises faster than math homework, a reminder that around here being openly gay is still as good as announcing open season. My sister's friends are living out the nightmares I have for her. McKenna is poster child for vulnerability, a bisexual girl in a small town swallowing depression easier than her breakfast. Meanwhile, her friends are all scars on arms, barely keeping suicide at arm's length, and I am terrified that the only thing keeping her from them is time. The South has a funny way of making you thankful for things you should never have to fear losing, like mothers welcoming their black boys back home with outstretched arms of answered prayer. I find grace in the fact that my sister is not yet statistic in a community where hallway harassment and back alley bloodshed are creating more and more graves for smaller and smaller coffins. It is impossible for me to rejoice in the fact that my sister has found her people when I am watching self-proclaimed prophets smother them to death and call it Southern hospitality. This is not what loving the sinner looks like. Sometimes it is difficult for me to understand how the South can still feel so much like it is burning when I am watching it do its damnedest to put out everyone that flames. I feel no glory in my greed, no pride in my protectiveness. Ash, I am sorry. You will never know how disgusted I am with myself that I so easily found solace in your suicide simply because it was not my sister's. But in this Bible Belt battle, there will always be sides, and I am on hers till kingdom come.
Rachel Carroll. All right, judges, scores. We have a full house. Thank you all for coming. The back row is always packed, and we're glad you're with us. Okay, judges, put them up.